Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you a weekly energy update from the dates of July 18th through the 24th. And real quick, my friends, before I get into the reading, I am so excited to let you know that my new online coaching program is finally available for enrollment. There's a link down below if you want to check out the details. If you ever wanted to go deeper with me, with my guidance beyond these YouTube videos, now's your chance. What's going to be involved real briefly, and then I'll get into the reading, is weekly live coaching sessions with me. And we alternate the times, just so you know. 1 week will be in the AM, 1 week will be in the PM to accommodate folks from all over the world. My wife, Pattie, who's amazing, she runs a retreat with me, and she's not on social media like me, but she's just as powerful, and she has a lot of unique gifts to share. She's going to be a big part of it as well. And the main things this program helps you do, just so you know, is there's 3 of them. One of them is healing. Now, we all know we need to heal, but I found that when we come together as a group and do things like breath work and past life regressions and these sort of formal online ceremonies, doing them with people online together, it creates massive healing, life-changing healing, letting go of the patterns and conditionings and negative beliefs, letting in space for the new to come in. Secondly, I'm going to help you clarify and start living your life purpose. That's the most important thing in my experience for creating a completely different life scenario. New people, new job situation, new living situation, new look even. Everything changes when you finally discover and then start walking your authentic path. And the third component is helping you really master your intuition. I know you're already intuitive. Most people that watch channels like this are, but it's like a muscle. You can exercise it. You can become more intuitive than you are right now, I can guarantee you that. And what happens is when you work at your intuition, the most important thing is you start to begin to trust it. And once you trust your intuition, once you really take seriously the amazing advice you're already giving yourself, that is what really propels you forward in an accelerated way. I have coached thousands of people, and these are the 3 things I would always do because they are the 3 things that make the biggest impact. And right now, you can join this program for $29 per month. And to sign up is super easy. There's a link right down below at the top of the description box. Check it out if this all resonates. And with that said, I'll get into the reading right now. Number 1 is letting go. Letting go of the things in your life you know don't belong. Usually, at least for me, you can let me know maybe in the comments down below, the way it goes. I can always initially get kind of an intuitive sense that someone or something, some area when I'm putting energy into my life is on its way out. I can just initially sense it. And then I'll get some type of experience, like a synchronistic experience that will reflect to me the energetic incompatibility between me and that person and that thing. And then as that happens, I'll get another hit, oh, you were right before, Vic, with that intuitive hit. And now here's sort of an experience to show you. Now they say, what do they say? That God, he'll eventually whisper, and then he'll tap at your door, and then he'll come and freaking beat that door down. Luckily, I no longer usually require my door getting beat down, but I've had that happen a million times. An example that comes to mind is my buddy Matt. He's an amazing women's empowerment coach. He's a successful entrepreneur. And for years now, he's done these big online launches where he would work with women for 3 weeks in a row. And the last week is when he would open up his coaching program. But the last week he would go live with these women twice a day for 4 hours. I know, it's crazy. 8 hours a day, it sounds like. For a week, 7 or 8 days straight. And he said, this is how I fuel my business. This is how I let all these women get to know me, and some of them join me in my program, and it's what's always worked. But the last couple times he's been doing these big launches, he's been feeling more and more burnt out afterwards. And this last one in particular, a few months ago he was saying that not only did he feel just exhausted, just completely spent, but his throat was messed up. He not only lost his voice, but he was having trouble speaking where it was painful, and he had to go to the doctor multiple times. And to this day, his throat has been an issue. And just like recently, even though he like knows, he's getting God like banging pretty loudly at his door, he knows he needs to let go. He just started to even think and contemplate doing one more of those launches. And he said right like the day he thought of that, his throat flared up a lot. And then finally he was like, you know what, God, I got it. I got the message. And he finally, in his mind and in his heart, just accepted, I have to let this go. And then once he did that, a couple days later, he came to Sedona. He's actually in one of these rooms here where me and my friend Aaron and Matt are staying here in Sedona. And he came here explaining this situation. Like, man, I just let go of this. I finally accepted. I'm no longer going to be doing these launches, yada, yada. And throughout like the last 3 days, he's gotten so much clarity, so many inspired ideas of a new way of doing the coaching, a new way of doing what he already loves that takes a lot less time, a lot less energy, and it's even a greater value and more impact for the women. And it's almost like the universe knew that Matt has evolved himself to this point where he doesn't need to work so hard. Even though it worked, even though it gave him some safety, he's outgrown it. There's a better, softer, more efficient, more impactful, just smarter way of doing things. But God or the higher self or whatever, it doesn't tell you that. In a way it does, but it doesn't tell you logically in some sort of like transcript. You get this feeling, this intuitive knowing that this is trying to leave my life and something better will replace it. And a lot of times we cling because all we have is this vague sensing that there may be something that could be a little better. So that's, for most human beings, that's not enough to go on. That's not enough to let go of some sort of significant safety structure in their life. But the way the universe is working now with the vibration of the planet raising, it's like the new way of going through life with more trust, more flow, and a lot more accelerated growth and change and manifestation. But what I've learned, and what Matt's sort of a case in point there, is once you just give it a chance, and give God, give higher self a chance and say, you know what? I got to let this thing go. It's driving me nuts anyways. I kind of want to let it go. And even though I'm afraid, I'm going to give you a chance to show me what do you have in store for me. And the more you let go, especially inside, especially when you really start to come to terms with it, that's when the new comes in. I speculate we need to create space in our like mind for the new to come in. I don't know how it works, but it does work that way. I've gone through this type of growth spurt time and time and time and time again, and every time it's the same, and every time it works out beautifully. Every time I've upgraded my life substantially and look back every time and said, thank goodness I had those feelings, those hunches that I'm meant for something more. Number 2, letting in. Sometimes when we let go, whether intentionally or unwillingly, and God sort of rips it out of our life, like it's kind of like the last ditch resort, that sometimes happens either way. Usually that new thing, that new path, that new chapter, that new awesome and amazing and exciting thing, as it presents itself, it is intimidating. It's exciting and intimidating. And it can be hard to really let the goodness in. I'll give an example. One of the things that happened to me many years ago when I was running my gym is I had this gym, and it finally, after a lot of time, became like somewhat successful. I was the only trainer there, and I eventually filled up with clients, and I was making money and things were good. I thought to myself, finally, you're good, Vic. You've worked hard and you got this cool job situation. And then, because it was time for me to upgrade even that, I started getting I got golfer's elbow in both elbows. It's like a tendonitis thing where I couldn't work out. I was a trainer, a personal trainer. I couldn't work out, and I had pain in both my freaking elbows, and I was like 23 or 4 years old. It didn't make any sense. And what I discovered is that it was because I was always handing dumbbells to clients, times like 8 to 10 people a day, 30, 45-minute workouts, a lot of dumbbells I was handing off. I was doing too much, even though mentally it made me feel safe and secure. And eventually I realized I had to hire another trainer. That was like what the message was for me. But what that meant for me was I became very afraid. I thought, like, what if I can't afford to pay the trainer? What if I don't find the right trainer and all the clients, like, they don't like it? I felt bad about telling some of the clients, hey, listen, I'm no longer gonna be training you, this new guy is. And I had all these what ifs, I don't know if it's gonna work, yeah. And that was an example of me not letting it in. But because my elbows were in such pain, I had to do it. And here's what happened. Once I entertained the idea, I didn't make any big changes. I didn't tell any of the clients. All I did was like come to terms in my mind that, okay, I know I need to hire someone. What could I do? And then it's like I opened up a loop. I opened up a space for the universe to come in. And then my friend, one of my buddies I've known for years, his name is Marvin. He popped in my head. All of a sudden, Marvin, what are you doing in my head, Marvin? Marvin was a martial arts instructor. And I thought, whoa, that would be awesome. That he would come in and train. He had kind of like a different like edge, a different skill set that was kind of unique. Maybe an easy sell for all my clients. Like, hey, you're gonna learn martial arts from an expert. But the point is, sometimes that new option, that new upgrade is intimidating. But we have a choice at those times to sort of revert back to what's comfortable, which in my experience doesn't even work. It's like almost impossible these days to hold on to stuff in your life that like doesn't resonate. The other option is to trust. And what I've learned is that as I trust, the universe makes a way. That's when you kind of tap into the support of the divine. And that's when my friend Marv came into my mind, and that's when I started getting very excited about like the possibility of him working here. And guess what? He started to. Elbow pain gone. I could start growing my business more because I had more time. I had more time with my family. And it was like everything improved. It all started with painful elbows trying to tell me there's a better way of doing things. I had to not only let go, but I also had to like give the universe a chance to help me incorporate these new ideas into my reality. And whenever you just start to trust, that's when you really can tap into like the 5D miracles and the synchronicity and the accelerated manifestation, the mind-blowing ironies that just are more and more and more confirmation and proof that there is something beyond us that does seem to be this divine guiding undercurrent of our life. And even though we can't see it, we can't touch it, we can't even explain it, we can surely trust it. And it will over time prove itself time and time and time again to say, listen, just trust me. Put me in, coach. I got your back. Number 3 is honoring your inner child, not with some type of altar or anything like that. What I mean by honoring your inner child is taking into consideration your feelings when you go about pursuing new things. This is a week where you really might feel fired up about new stuff going on in your life. And again, those excitements, those ideas might also scare you a lot. And one of the mistakes I made in the past was biting off more than I can chew emotionally. I'll give an example. As I explained, a couple years ago, not even a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, I was going to write a book. And when I was going to write this book, I like dove all in. I started working with Hay House, the publishers, and all of a sudden this guy who's never written a book, this little kid, little Victor's never written a book, all of a sudden it's like he's trying to join the big leagues. And I felt this calling. It was real. My calling to write a book was and is real. But the way I was going about it was what I thought writing a book entailed, which is you get a publisher, you get published, you do this huge launch and say, hey world, here's my first book. And just what I've learned in trying that, it was just too much for me. I gave my best effort. You have no idea the things I attempted. I got to a point where I was like microdosing and going way up high in the mountains with my little typewriter and being like, God, if this book's meant to be written, please come through. And you know what happened is sometimes it would. Sometimes it would come through beautifully. But many other times it was just emotionally overwhelming. It was just too much. And I was running into way too many creative blocks. And I know that's part of the process, but it started to like interfere with my life. I was getting stressed out. I was losing sleep. I was not putting out any like YouTube videos, and my life became just consumed with this suffering caused by me thinking I had to go a certain speed. What I've learned and what's helping me now, and I'll share with you what I'm going to be doing, is like recently I felt that same calling to write a book again. I'm in Sedona, and it tends to do that. It tends to put you like in touch with like what you're meant to do in life. And in my mind, I was thinking like, man, I don't know if I can do that. I already tried and failed in a sense. But this feeling is like, no, you got to do it again. You got to do it again. And I started doing it again. Started writing again last week. And it was going good, and then all of a sudden, I hit that same wall. I hit that like same exact type of wall. And that caused me to really step back and think, what do I got to do? Something has got to give. And then I had this idea of making my first book free and not making it all that long, because I have like a million things I want to write about. So the first book's going to be about how to live your life purpose after your spiritual awakening. One thing that I believe, in fact, I've surveyed you guys, if you remember on my community post, that a lot of folks in my audience are wanting help with, something I've done myself. And that's going to be my book. But the point is, I made it a little easier on myself, not because I'm afraid, not because I can't handle it, well, because I couldn't handle it, quite frankly. And just me modifying the speed has allowed me to not only make a lot of progress with this, but feel good and have fun with it. So anyways, as you get these new ideas, remember, you can take your time. You got to push yourself a little bit. Even what I said, I'm still feeling the nerves here and there, but it's not to the point where I just can't move forward. And then what would happen before is I would set myself up almost for failure. And then not only would I not get where I was trying to go, but I would feel horrible about myself. I'd beat myself up. I'd think, man, you just suck. Here you are, this YouTube guy preaching about following your dreams, and you can't do it. And I went to a really, really dark place. And what I've realized now is like all of it was unnecessary. All I had to do was honor the inner child and say, listen, we're going to go outside of the comfort zone a little bit, but I promise you, we're going to take our time and we're going to get used to this new situation at a pace that's manageable, at a pace that's fun. Thank you for watching, my friend. One last reminder, my new program, Elevate Awakening Coaching, run by me and my wife, Pattie, involving weekly online coaching sessions and much, much more, is open today. It's only $29 per month, which I know sounds crazy. That's the price. If you sign up now, enrollment closes on Friday, so it's only open for 5 days. I want to just sort of see how it goes before I keep letting people in. So now's the time to join for only $29 a month. There's a link down below. Check it out if you want to work with me. And if not, I'll be here a few times a week with these YouTube videos nonetheless. Again, that link is down below. However, if you do want to learn more, with that said, you have an amazing day, my friends. Much love to you all. Peace.